When I was a kid, you always wanted to be a hero, but I never really found out what I really wanted to do as I was growing up until I was around 16. I heard about some people drilling water wells in the Pacific, and I thought, that sounds super cool. That's what I want to do with my life. My name is Eivind. I'm from Norway. I am 34 years old. I used to work in the petroleum industry as a petroleum engineer, and now I've been 5 years in YWAM pursuing God's will for my life. Even though my life was complete, as some may say, I still had this deep longing of doing something more, something significant, something that mattered. And it took a little bit of a shock to get me out of my bubble, and actually at the end of 2016 the oil market crashed, and I lost my job. I got laid off together with thousands of others in Norway. I ended up living in a trailer in a beach park in Norway contemplating life and remembering this dream I had of drilling water wells in the Pacific. And I went straight back to God, and he took me on this journey that eventually, I ended up deciding this is my chance. This is the time to pursue that dream of going to the Pacific and drilling water wells. So when I decided to do this water project, I just wanted to go somewhere that needed water, and I wanted to help them, and didn't know how, didn't know where, so I started researching where do they need water. Papua New Guinea. I found that pretty quickly, and I did research some more. What's the challenges there? And I found out transportation. I looked at the coastline. I was like, I would really like a boat. And at that very moment, my mom, who didn't know what I was doing, she was in the same room as me, and she was like, "Hey, Eivind, have you heard of this new medical ship from YWAM?" I'm like, "No." "Yeah, it's called YWAM Liberty, and they just did their first medical outreach in Papua New Guinea." And I'm like, "What's Papua New Guinea?" That word had never been uttered in our home before. It's never been on our radar. And so when she was talking about Papua New Guinea and a ship, and I was sitting thinking about Papua New Guinea and a ship, then I kind of easily connected the dots, and I got in touch with YWAM right away. So I went straight to Papua New Guinea, 3 months as a volunteer on the ships, on the different ships. And on that journey, I found Solomon Islands. And as I was praying about going to the Solomon Islands, God clearly spoke YWAM Solomons to me. And I ended up finding a phone number and calling them and asked if I could come for a visit. And they said, "Sure, you can come for a visit, but we're kind of busy right now because we're drilling a lot of water wells." And so up until this point, I had done nothing about water in Papua New Guinea, but yeah, that was amazing, an answer to prayer. And so when I went to the Solomon Islands, I got to drill my first water well in the Pacific. So that was absolutely amazing. After my community development school, I really was praying into what's my role in the Solomon Islands. And God started talking about a sailboat. And I got this confirmation from many different places. And when I got to the Solomon Islands and shared this with the leadership team, they were all excited because they said, "This is something we have been praying for the last 3 years." So they were already having a vision about a sailboat in the Solomon Islands, and they already had an idea of what it could look like. Basically enabling the locals to go out and help more islands with practical tools such as community development, to see youth in the Solomon Islands step out into their calling, into what God has for them. I realized that my motivation for what I'm doing is because I have a sincere belief that God has called me to do what I'm doing. My biggest dream is to see the people of the Solomon Islands not only enabled, but to step out into the Great Commission, into the great calling of go into all the world. Because often when you are in the islands, you get so locked into your own island mentality that it's impossible to go anywhere because we are poor and it's expensive to go places. But when we unlock that mindset that it's actually possible for us to go out into the world and God is our provider, then that will unlock something significant, I think. And I think our sailboat is going to be part of that. But also this whole project is just unlocking doors left and right for people of the Solomon Islands to go out into the world and participate in this project and the Great Commission.